In Las Fierbinți Impositul Part 2, the viewer is once again invited into the dusty lanes of the village, where the mundane becomes extraordinary and bureaucracy becomes a form of dark comedy. The episode is built around a new local tax that throws the community into chaos. What makes this episode particularly compelling is how it transforms a simple administrative issue into a full-blown social commentary about trust, deception, and survival. The narrative begins with the mayor nervously reading a letter from the capital announcing a new tax reform. The words are full of bureaucratic jargon that no one understands, and the mayor, in his confusion, decides to interpret it in his own way. He calls for a village meeting where everyone talks at once, each person inventing their own version of the truth. The bar becomes a miniature parliament, a place where rumors evolve into law. Gianni and Bobica, as usual, find a way to exploit the situation. They start collecting advance taxes from villagers, promising to handle the paperwork on their behalf. Their entrepreneurial spirit borders on genius, but the show cleverly avoids glorifying them. Instead, it exposes the moral flexibility that poverty breeds. When the system is corrupt, morality becomes negotiable. Celentano and Fierbinți, observing from their corner, philosophize about how the rich never pay taxes anyway. The dialogue is absurd, yet revealing. Behind every joke lies an acute understanding of inequality. The humor never feels forced. It grows organically from the characters' desperation and resourcefulness. What impressed me most is how the episode maintains emotional balance. Amid the chaos, there are moments of stillness. The old teacher who tries to explain the new tax to a child, realizing halfway through that he himself doesn't understand it. The priest who reminds everyone that the only tax worth paying is the moral one, even as he quietly pockets donations. Each character becomes a mirror, reflecting a small fragment of the national psyche. Visually, the episode embraces simplicity. The dusty roads, the cracked paint, and the golden light of the countryside create a realism that contrasts beautifully with the absurdity of the plot. The camera's intimacy allows us to feel the texture of life in Fierbinți, the fatigue, the laughter, the quiet complicity. The pacing, too, is deliberate. There are no dramatic twists, only the slow revelation that everyone is part of the same flawed system. The episode ends with a comic yet poignant scene. Bobica, having collected the taxes, hides the money in his backyard, only for a sudden rainstorm to wash it all away. The villagers find out, and instead of getting angry, they laugh. Their laughter, raw and exhausted, fills the air like a confession. It's a cathartic moment, not because they find justice, but because they find unity in absurdity. Watching this, I couldn't help but think about how societies built on confusion and distrust can still produce moments of solidarity. The people of Fierbinți are not heroes, nor are they fools. They are survivors, each finding meaning in the small victories of daily life. The show reminds us that corruption is not only a political issue, it's emotional, cultural, and deeply human. Impositul, Part 2, is not just about taxes. It's about the invisible price of resilience. It shows how humor and hope coexist, how cynicism and kindness often share the same breath. In a world that constantly demands more from those who have less, the villagers of Fierbinți remind us that laughter is not a luxury. It's a form of resistance.